Hey champions, welcome. Today we're going to be going over the workshop number 3 for how to set visionary goals. And today specifically we're going to talk about how to instill affirmations, how to create daily practices, and then how to navigate weekly check-ins. So those will be the topics that we're going to be covering today. And just to recap, on week number 1, we went over some perhaps pitfalls at our current goal setting method. Talk about why there's some holes in that kind of concept. We discussed some things that we can do to add, to improve, that needs to be kind of in a proper goal setting framework. And then we talked about the first step of that goal setting framework, which is how to visualize. We talked about visualize success. That was week number 1. Last week, we went over how to integrate our values into our goals and also into our life as well. And then we also last week talked about how to set your why, both setting your why for your values and then setting your why for your goals, and why that is so important as it pertains to setting goals. Today, like I said, we're going to talk about how to instill affirmations. Again, an affirmation is very basic and clean. We want to develop those positive affirmations to reinforce belief and positivity in ourselves to stay committed to that goal. And then we're going to go over today as well, organizing daily practices. We want to establish daily practices that will contribute directly towards reaching those goals. And then today as well, we're going to go over navigating weekly check-ins. You want to schedule regular reviews to celebrate, to analyze, and to adjust. Right? So those are the things we're going to be going over today. So your affirmations. Okay, instilling affirmations into your goals gives you an opportunity to kind of reset, refocus, and to motivate yourself and into the right mindset so you can put some action down onto those goals. We talked last week about how motivation follows action. This is going to be kind of the striking of the match, that starting of the action to put you in the right frame of mind to go put some work in, to be motivated to go and do the thing. So affirmations are short, powerful statements that are designed to shift your mindset, just to shift your mindset towards setting or towards achieving that goal or arriving at that goal. The idea behind affirmations is they're there to replace self-doubt with empowerment. Okay, replace self-doubt with empowerment. And again, it gives you an opportunity to refocus on the positivity of that goal, or the positive outcome that you're looking to achieve from that goal. Another thing that affirmations do is it gives you an opportunity to talk to the subconscious mind, right? So we have two kind of minds. We have the conscious mind, the thinking mind, and we have the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is the kind of the background processing, the operating system. The subconscious mind will inform you tomorrow when you wake up how to get out of the bed and be you as you go throughout your day. As we are saying these affirmations, it gives you an opportunity to talk to that subconscious, because you're saying these affirmations in a repetitious type of factor. They will start to sink past the conscious into the subconscious and start to change your operating system for how you become you. That means you get an opportunity to break the habit of being yourself. Now, I'm going to give you 5 rules to build a powerful affirmation. Okay, so rule number 1 is affirmations need to start with I am. They can also start with I can. That's okay. I think I am statements are more powerful, more direct, and better achieved through this. So with this I am type of statement, what it does is it creates a sense of ownership and gives you immediacy as you are saying this. Okay, so I am type of statement. So let me give you an example of that. An example, this doesn't necessarily pertain to any specific goal, but this is a great affirmation. I am strong and disciplined. Right, so it's short, it's direct, it's to the point, and it starts with an I am. Again, it gives you an opportunity to take ownership over that affirmation. And then number 2 is you want it to be in the present tense. Frame these affirmations as though the goal is already happening to you, right? These affirmations need to be in present tense. So again, an example for this one. I am confident in my ability to succeed. I am confident in my ability to succeed, right? Make sure these are in the present tense. And then number 3, of course, these affirmations, they need to be positive. Positive. They're going to be there. Again, that's going to be the striking of the match so you can get ready to start that fire. Avoid words like not or don't and focus on the desired outcome. So, an example, replace I don't procrastinate with I take consistent action every day. Or I am the person who takes consistent action every day. Right? Again, that is specific, it is present, and it doesn't have any negativity in it at all. It says the same thing as the other one. It just stays in that positive type of light. Number 4, your affirmations need to be specific, right? You want to tie these affirmations to a goal, tie these affirmations to a value, right? And then you can start taking steps towards achieving that and living a life that is in line with whatever your values are. So an example would be, I am the person who eats healthy meals to fuel my body and achieve my ideal weight, right? Again, that is specific. And sometimes you have a set of affirmations because you have an affirmation probably for each of your goals. And I'm gonna give you a kind of a practice that you can implement, a habit system that you can implement into your day that will combine your values, it will combine your affirmations, and then your habits and practices. We'll talk about that a little bit later today. Okay, but for right now, again, number 4 was be specific. Number 5 is you want to include emotion or gratitude into those affirmations, or you want those affirmations to be full of emotion as you are saying them. Adding emotion and feeling will make those affirmations more impactful as you say them. So an example for this, I am deeply grateful for the progress that I make every day. I am deeply grateful for the progress that I make every day. Now that you got the 4 steps, kind of how to build the affirmation, once you kind of have an idea of what those will be looking like for you, then you want to write them down. You want to write them down. And you're going to have to go through a drafting process. The first one you write down is maybe not going to be the best version for yourself. So you write down, okay, let's tweak this a little bit. Let's modify this. You write down 2 or 3 different affirmations, kind of, all right, great. Yep, this is okay for right now. And then you use that for right now. And then you move in and then you do something else later and so on and so on. So again, this is going to be, again, not just a one and done type of thing. Yes, do it now, get it done to get you started with this. But understand that in the future, as you learn more, as you adapt, and as you go into this approach further, you're going to be modifying what those look like the better to better serve your needs. Now, your goal as you're writing these down is you want to try to refine this statement to ensure clarity and alignment with those 5 rules that I just gave you. Right? So you use that as a roadmap and you write them down. Does this have all of those topics in it? Yes, no, otherwise. And if not, why? And if not, that's okay as long as you know why and it is meaningful and kind of makes sense to you as it pertains to whatever it is that you're looking to achieve. Now, how do we implement this? There's a couple different ways that we're going to do this. Okay, give the first one, of course, is you want to say this on a daily type of basis. Right? The more often you can say these things, the more impactful they're going to be. Because again, you're trying to move these things from the conscious mind through to the subconscious mind, right? That's where we really want them to be at. That's our intention. That's our goal, to talk to that subconscious mind, to talk to that basic programming for how we know to be us, so that we can have some sort of influence on how we wake up tomorrow and how we show up for others and ourselves throughout our day. So, of course, you want to say these affirmations, and I would encourage you to say them out loud. As you say them out loud. One thing that you can do is you can try to anchor these to a habit that you already have in place. And this first one I'm going to give you is brilliant for a couple different reasons. I'm hopeful that everybody listening to this got up today and they brushed their teeth. Hopefully that happened. If not, maybe you can do that after we get done here. You got to brush your teeth. If you can remember to brush your teeth every day, as I hope that you can, link your affirmation with brushing your teeth, right? This does a couple things. Number one is you have one habit, one practice that you're already doing. You just link in another one, right? So that will help to stack them, and then they will be together. You do one and you do the other one, they're together. The other thing that's really brilliant about this one is you're brushing your teeth. You are standing in front of the mirror. So as you say them out loud, you're not only saying it in the present tense and taking ownership of the words, but you're saying it to the mirrored version of yourself. You're saying it to you, and you can see yourself saying those things. You can hear yourself saying those things. That will be very impactful. Now, I understand maybe, and we're going to talk about maybe a different way to do this a little bit later on, but I think that saying them out loud is important. And if you can say them while you're looking into the mirror, has great impact as well, because then it's like you're talking to yourself. Quite literally, you're talking to yourself, but also you're seeing the reflection of yourself as you talk to yourself. So there's some powerful things that are at play with that one. Now, while you say these affirmations, your mind, yes, is saying them, but you also want to try to visualize. We talked about visualization in the first week. Want to visualize what these affirmations look like as you are putting the work in, as you are achieving these goals, right? So you say this out loud. If you're brushing your teeth, you're looking at yourself in the mirror, saying this out loud. You're visualizing what it looks like for you to be that person, to take ownership of whatever that affirmation is. We know how powerful the visualization is. Linking that with saying it in front of the mirror, hearing it out loud, and having that positive affirmation that's set up appropriately. Wonderful, wonderful things. Now, the next thing, we talked about the affirmations are not one and done. There's going to be an evolution to this. You write it down. You're going to want to revisit your affirmations weekly or monthly, just to ensure that they remain relevant to your goals. And that speaks a little bit about the adaptability, which is the last part of this visionary goal setting. But we want to make sure that we are adaptable in our approach, and that we adapt to whatever happens around us. So with these affirmations, there's no difference there. As you're saying them, you need to make sure maybe on a weekly to monthly type of basis that you kind of, okay, yep, is this serving me the best way? Yes, no, otherwise, and you make some modifications to it, or you get rid of it, or you change the time of the day that you do it. And we're going to talk about, again, I keep teasing this, we're going to talk about some different times of the day to do it as well. But just understand that once those affirmations are set, they're not one and done. You want to revisit them just to make sure that they are relevant to where you are and the goals that you want to achieve. Of course, I want to encourage you to update those affirmations as you progress towards your goals as well, right? Because as you learn more, as you become that different person, that person that can and will and is working on achieving that goal, you are going to be progressing and growing outside of your comfort zone, stretching yourself. As you do that, you're learning more. As you do that, you're becoming a different type of person. Those affirmations that you started with maybe won't serve that new person that you will become down the road. So be adaptable in that approach. And of course, with anything, consistency is key. Affirmations work best when they're integrated into your daily routine. They're going to help you build a resiliency and allow you to be goal focused and achieve that goal focused mindset over time as you say these. Now, one thing that I like to do for my affirmations is I set a reminder on my phone. So last week we talked about values, and we talked about having a why for your values. I think it's also important to have, let me lay this out for you. You have your values, how? Yes, they're not in any specific order. You just write them down. Yes, I value being a husband. I value being, whatever those things are for you. Then you rank order them. What is most important to you on down? Okay, why do you value this? Why do you value that all the way through? The last step to that value system, is to create an affirmation for each of those values, right? Because what that'll do is that'll give you an opportunity to strike the match, to start the fire for that motivation, to put the action in to those values, to be that type of person. And what I have in practice that I do for myself, for each of my values that I have for my personal life, I have a value, they're ranked in order, I have a why for them, and I have an affirmation for them. I have those affirmations as alarms on my phone to go off at different parts of the day, week, month, and year when they are most important to me. So, for example, let's say I have an affirmation where I am the best father in the world. Now, I don't always live that out. Sometimes I give that best person a run for their money, but I don't always live that out, and that's okay. I know that by having that as a intention for myself, having that as a value for myself, an affirmation for myself, that will help me to put the work in to be that type of person. However, if I say that affirmation on a random Thursday at 2 p.m., I'm at work, my kids are at school, I can't put any action down on that affirmation. That's not helpful for me then. So you want to strategically allow those affirmations to come to you when they are most important to you. So, for example, the one for me to be the best father in the world, I have as a reminder on my phone to go off on Saturdays at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. on Saturdays, more often than not, I'm at home, I'm with my family. I read that affirmation, I say it, I say, yes, I am. I put the phone down and I go do something to put those things into action, right? That is me striking the match to light my motivation so I can be disciplined to do the work. Then I will continue to be motivated to do those things. Having an affirmation for your goals is the same kind of thing. If you have a goal to lose weight, you want to be in the better shape, your value is linked to being healthy. I value being healthy and being able to move and do things in my life. Okay, great. Then my affirmation is I'm the type of person who puts the work in to achieve a healthier body. And I just came up with that top of my head. You maybe can do a better one than that. That's okay. But that's what it is. Having that go to you when you are getting ready to go to bed, maybe not the most helpful, but maybe on the alarm that you wake up with, that might be more impactful because then you have that as the alarm that wakes you up in the morning. You read that affirmation, you say that affirmation, you get out of bed, and then you go do something about it. You go to the gym, you plan your breakfast or your meals or whatever it is, but that will help to start your day to get you in that type of mindset for the day, to set your intention for the day. So there's lots of different ways you can do this and implement this into your life. If you can rely on remembering to do it and linking it to another practice or habit that you already have, that's great. That's great. I do that for some of them. On other ones, I have that reminder on my phone come to me. I think that is really impactful because then I can strategically design it to be present mind when it's most important to me. And I think that is really impactful as it relates to your goals. Now that we got the affirmations out of the way, the next step in our goal setting framework is to organize daily practices. All right. A lot of times people will say habits, and habits is their habits are okay. The issue that I take with habits is when people think of habits, they think it's a set it and forget it type of measure. They think, oh, you know what? You're having some trouble with this. Just make a habit of it and then you'll be fine. No problem. You don't even have to think about it. It just happens on autopilot. I don't know hardly anything that happens on autopilot, right? We talked about brushing your teeth a handful of minutes ago. I'm sure if you're listening to this, you thought to yourself, man, wait, did I brush my teeth today? I think I did. Yeah, I did. Yeah. That is because our subconscious mind is going through and doing that, right? That's one way to look at maybe doing a habits for so long and you know, but I'm sure there's times or days that might happen that you forget to do something like that. You forget to put deodorant on. Oh man, I forgot to put deodorant on today. I forgot to brush my teeth. I'm gonna go do that now. You know, whatever those things are, even though they're a habit, even though a habit, quote unquote, and even though you've been doing them for years and years and years and years, sometimes we still forget to do those things. So instead of relying on some magical thing that happens when we set this habit and we forget it and we don't even have to worry about it, it just happens. Listen, I don't want to live my life on autopilot. I don't want to live my life where my life is happening to me. I want my life to happen for me and for me to go through my life and be present as I go through my life. with intention and purpose. So as opposed to saying habit, I want to shift your concept to practice. Because what this allows you to do is it gets you in the mindset of you are practicing to become the person you want to become. You're practicing becoming the person you want to become. And the person who you pretend to be is the person you will end up becoming. So if you want to, we talk about being healthy. If you want to be more healthy, if you want to be more fit, right? What are the habits, practices that you can implement into your life that will be there for you to help you achieve that goal? And by doing this as a practice and thinking about them as practicing, I'm practicing this, I'm practicing that, and so all of these things, then that shifts your mindset. It brings your mindset focused on what it is that you're doing. Because as opposed to habit where your mind is on autopilot, not focused on what you're doing, is happening by some magical force that's just, hopefully it works, I guess. I don't know. There's not, but if you can bring intent and purpose to these practices, because I am doing this practice right now so that I can be that type of person. I'm doing this practice right now because I am becoming that type of person who does this thing. So shifting that mindset from habit to practice, I think, is very important. Now, oftentimes people use these things interchangeably, and anytime in my head that I hear people say habit, I hear focus. Right? I see that or anytime I hear habit, I hear that as practice. That's how I focus my mind on that. It's not necessarily a habit, it's a practice. And if it's something you want to implement in your life that's not already there, think about it as a strategic plan that you are going to practice these things to become that type of person. Habits, listen, it's not magic. Practice with intent and purpose to that type of person. Now, your daily practices. You have some big things that you can do on a daily basis. You have some small things you can do on a daily basis. The big things are great. The hard or troubling thing with the big things is they take a lot of time, energy, and effort. And because they take time, energy, and effort, and a lot of it, they don't happen as often as they could or should or would otherwise if they were small. Small practices, they don't take much time, energy, or effort to do. Yet, because they don't take much time, energy, and effort to do, they can become more powerful over time because they will compound. You do something small, little bit. I'm sure most of you guys have heard of James Clear. Fabulous book, Atomic Habits. He talked about getting 1% better every single day. You get 1% better over the time of a year. Holy cow, you're multiple times better by the end of that year. Multiple times. Because of the way that compounds. So if you have a small measure that you can take, just a little bit every day, that'll be so much better. So, okay, we're talking about being healthy. If let's say you want to do some push-ups, right? I'm going to do a physical exercise. I'm going to do some push-ups today. Great. You could do, 300 push-ups today and then not move for the next week. Yeah, I guess you could do that. Or you could do like 10 push-ups today and then 10 more tomorrow and 10 more and 10, 10, 10. Or you could do 10 now in the morning and 10 later in the evening. And then same thing over you can do them, but it doesn't have to be this huge, big thing so much that you can't move the next day, because that's time, energy, and effort high. Those are great, but it's hard to sustain those over time. The small things will lead to the big results because they will compound over time. And if you have this goal, this huge, big goal, and I hope that you do have a huge, big goal, huge, just a scary type of goal. Scary where it's going to push and allow you to grow and who it's going to allow you to become. In order to achieve that thing, we need to break it down into some smaller steps, right? Some actionable steps. We talked about visualization. We visualize what it would look like had we already achieved that goal. And we can take notes and commentary from what other people have done who have achieved that goal. What type of things have they done? What type of things are they doing? Can I start to implement some of those things or one or two of those things into my life as a practice to try it on for myself, to see how it works, to see if it gets me into the direction that I want to go, so I can be that type of person who has already achieved that goal? So that would be a way to break those things down into smaller steps and to break that huge goal into some smaller actionable steps, because these daily practices, these will be your stepping stones. This will be the actions that you will implement to arrive at that goal as the person who can and will and has achieved that goal. By thinking about those people who already have the goal, what practices do they have on a daily basis, and how many of them can I implement for myself? Now, adding these to your day, again, is a tough thing, because your day is already full of other commitments, other practices, other habits, other work, whatever it is, it's full. So that's where we can use that habit stacking type of thing. Okay, I'm brushing my teeth, I'm also going to do this at the same time, or I'm whatever it is. You start to link some of those up, and that's a great way to do this. The other way is, and this is kind of a funny concept to me, and it wasn't interesting to me until it was pointed out. Now that somebody pointed it out, I can't not think about this. People take so much time to strategize and to think and plan about how they're going to go to the gym. All right, yeah, I'm going to go to the gym on Mondays and Wednesdays and Fridays. I'm going to be there for an hour on this day. It's going to be an hour and a half on this. They kind of all, and on this day, I'm going to do this and this. And they all down to the minute that they're going to, the whole thing. And they go and enact that plan. And that's wonderful. Awesome. Good for them. But what they don't do is they don't use that same energy into thinking about how they're going to improve themselves. So you think about reading, right? And I tend to use the word study as opposed to read, just because of that mindset shift that happens. But regardless, if I'm going to study a book, I'm going to read a book. People often think, okay, well, when I have time, I'll get to that book. Yeah, when I have time, I know it's there. I'll get it. It's there. I know. If you went about reading a book or improving your life or growing your life in the same way that these people think about going to the gym, holy cow, wow, tremendous things would happen. So adding these practices to your day, you have to plan how you're going to do this. Have a plan of attack. Try it. And I'm a big fan of iterative testing. So what that means is essentially you try something. Does it work? Yes, no, or maybe. You try it again. Yes, no, or maybe, and so on. What works for you doesn't necessarily work for me, and what works for me doesn't necessarily work for you. You have to try it for your own self. How can you implement these practices? Starting small is, again, that's the best way. Doesn't take time, it doesn't take a lot of time, doesn't take a lot of energy, doesn't take a lot of effort. Small things will lead to big successes over time because they compound. That's the way to go. So think about how you can strategically plan these things into your life. Don't think, oh yeah, I'll do it when I have time. Oh no, yeah, I know, I'll get there eventually. No. Strategically plan for those things to happen. Then you can have them happen. And if it works for you, super. And if it doesn't, that's okay. Iterate and try again. That's where that weekly check-in that we're going to talk about here in a little bit comes into play. Now, another thing that I want to caution against is adding too many things at one time. In fact, I'm going to say 1 to 2 practices that you should be adding, not like 7. Even small things, 1 or 2 things, adding to whatever day that you have already is tough. Because as you go through your day, the momentum is building to be that other person, the person that you are right now. You want to deviate from that path just a little bit to be that other person. And then once you get there, then you can move a little bit more and so on. That way, instead of continuing to go down that path that you're on right now, you can alter and go down that other path, the path that you can see over in the distance, the path that leads to the goal. If you try to go too much, all right, I'm just going to do it all in. Yeah, that's not going to work so well, because your system, your body, your subconscious is going to fight against that, and it's going to pull you back to where you are, and perhaps even overcorrect into a lesser version than you are right now. So be careful on that. Be careful about adding too many things into your day. 1 or 2 things for right now. Get the hang of that. Shift, alter course just a little bit. Great. Got the hang of that. Got it down. All right, great. Good. Now shift a little bit more, and so on until you get all the way over to where you need to be at. That'd be a way to kind of visualize thinking about that. Now, weekly check-ins. Having an opportunity to check in on your goals on a weekly basis gives you an opportunity to reflect, to celebrate, and adjust whatever it is that's going on. So, some key questions that I think would be important for you to ask in this reflection time, in this check in, would be, what actions did I do this week to make progress towards my goal? What actions did I do this week that put me on path to achieve my goal? And then you can answer that. Well, I did this, 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 and this. Okay, great. How did that work for you? Well, I like this. I didn't like this. This needs to change a little bit. I did this, but it was at a different time. Though that's a great starting question, right? Here's another one. Did anything I do this week hurt my progress? Right? Because it's great to think about, yeah, all right, these are the successes. And oftentimes you don't want to look at the failures, the things that hurt your progress, but it's important to do so because then you know what to avoid for the next weeks. Otherwise, you're going to fall into that same pattern, that same routine. You're going to do it over and over. You don't do that, right? So another question, again, question number one, and again, you strategically design this for yourself, talk about how you whatever, but the ones I give you, the first one, what actions did I do this week to make progress towards my goal? And then the question was, did I do anything this week to hurt my progress? Question number 3, do I have any tasks to add for next week? And you can relate that to a goal or otherwise. This just gives you an opportunity to think, to have some forethought about what next week is going to look like for you. I'm a big fan of doing some weekly planning, daily planning. Those are all really, really good, important things to do. This is just a little step in that, right? If you don't do that, that's fine. And your weekly check-in could be wildly different than this. And that's okay. That's okay. You want to design something that works for you. Here's another one. Okay, here's another one. What, if any adjustments do I need to make for next week? So do I need to make any adjustments for next week? If so, what are they? Right? What can I change for next week to do just a little bit better? What did I not do so great at this week that I can do better next week? So having this weekly check-in does a couple things for you. It gives you an opportunity to reflect on the week and think about what worked and what didn't work. It gives you an opportunity to think, okay, what actions did I take and make towards my goal? Those are great. But it also gives you an opportunity to be held accountable. Held accountable to yourself, yes, I understand, but at least you need to be held accountable. Having some sort of other person that you're held accountable to, I think, is so important. And they could be the type of person that would go through this weekly check-in with you. And if you have a spouse or somebody that is there with you that you can do this back and forth with, that would be wonderful. But at the very least, doing this for yourself, to stay committed for yourself, to take ownership of your own actions to yourself, I think is important nonetheless. Now, the goal for this exercise, this self-reflection time, the goal for this check-in is not to spend like hours and hours and hours laboring over whatever happened. You want to get about 5 or 10 minutes on this, right? 5 or 10 minutes, that's it, right? So let's run down it. What actions did I take to make progress towards my goal? Well, okay, let's see. I did about 10 push-ups, a day. So I did 50 push-ups this week. All right, cool. I did 50 push-ups. That's progress towards my goal. Did I do anything that hurt my progress? Yeah. I had that dessert last night. I should not have had that. And next week, I'll do better on that next week. Do I have any tasks that I need to add for my goal next week? You know what? 10 push-ups was pretty good. I'm gonna try for 12 each day tomorrow. Yep, I'm gonna write each day next week. So I'm gonna write down 12 for that. 12 push-ups for each day of the week. Do I have any tasks that I need to add? You know what? Yeah, I've been talking to the nutritionist. I think I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna make that plan. We're gonna get my nutrition under control. I'm gonna start eating healthy, and we're gonna work with Jenny, and we're gonna get this all worked out. Do I have any adjustments that I need to make for next week? Yeah, you know what? I do. I want to make sure that I make that commitment. I'm going to meet with Jenny, and we're going to get my nutrition on track. I'm going to make sure instead of doing 10 push-ups, I do 12 push-ups every day. And I'm going to try to avoid, I know I like, the ice cream is so good, but I'm going to avoid having that ice cream and I'm gonna go. Maybe fine. I'll do half a bowl of ice cream instead of the whole thing. That'll be better. It'll be a little bit in the right direction, right? That's it. It doesn't. It's not. You don't have to labor over it forever. That's it, right? And again, the questions you ask and answer for yourself are going to be probably a little bit different. That's okay. But don't think that this is like, oh my gosh, I have to spend an hour now. No. It's like 5 or 10 minutes. That's it. That's it. And I would say pick a day. Saturday night, great. Sunday night, fine. Whatever it is. And again, we talked about adding like a stacking this with something, or adding a reminder in the phone. Absolutely do that. I have a reminder in my phone. It's time for a weekly check-in. Okay, great. Boom. I go through it. It's a reminder of my phone. I got the same thing I have a little bit different template that I use on a monthly check-in. Yep, I do that. I have that in my phone. Quarterly check-in. Yep, I got that as a reminder on my phone too, just so I can stay on track and do those things when they're important. I have so many other things that I'm doing through the day. It's hard for me to remember to do those things. But if I have that reminder on my phone, that alarm that goes off, hey, remember, do your weekly check-in. Oh, okay, great. All right, great. Boom, 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 boom. Yep. All right, good. I'm set for the next week. All right, here we go. So don't hear weekly check-in. Oh man, now I got to add this. Listen, the goal for this is not to add a bunch of extra work, busy work for your life. I'm totally not a fan of busy work. 5 or 10 minutes, that's it. That's all you need for that. Now, as you are going through this, we talked about the goal for that weekly check-in is to reflect, to allow for adjustments, and to celebrate. So with this gives you an opportunity to celebrate those small things that you're doing. With that celebration, that's where the motivation will come in. Because you're going to be happy, you're going to be excited because you can see the progress that you're doing. And as you're doing this weekly check-in, if you're doing it on your phone, I would have it, all in one kind of area. If you're doing it in a notebook, have it on one kind of page, or, one kind of notebook or one section of it. That way you can kind of see your adjustments, see the celebrations that happen, see the alterations, the reflections that have happened over time, to see where you started and to see how much progress you've done and where you're heading to next. Right? That would be something I think would be beneficial for you in that. So, exercises, homework for this week. Right? We talked about a couple things today. We talked about making those affirmations. Give yourself an opportunity to sit down and write a handful of affirmations for your goals. Then pick and choose, like, yep, this is the one, or I want to pick these and put them together a little bit. Okay, yep, these are the affirmations for my goals. Another one that you have as a homework assignment is think about some daily practices that you can add to your life. Again, 1 or 2 is it. That's all you need for right now. You can have a whole list, that's fine. But pick 1 or 2, stick to those, and just do that small course correction. And then small course correction until you get that big change that you're looking for. And then the last thing is, today's Friday, right? Today's Friday. So think about today. Just think about, don't put anything on paper. Just think about what those reflection questions would look like for you today. Then at the end of the day today, or at the end of the day tomorrow, after you've been thinking about them, your background processing will be trying to figure out some questions that'll work good for you. Sit down and then write the questions and then answer them for yourself. And then do that on a weekly basis as you move on. Next week is our last one of these. Last one. And we've came so far in our visualization. Nope. We've came so far in our visionary goal setting. We're going to be wrapping it up. So just to recap, we went over visualize success. You want to create that clear mental image for your success. We talked about integrating your values. Align your goals with your core set of values. Set a why. Define specific and meaningful reasons behind why you want to achieve those goals. Instill affirmations. Develop positive affirmations to reinforce belief and positivity. Organize daily practices. Establish daily practices that contribute directly towards your goals. Navigate weekly check-ins. Schedule regular reviews to celebrate, analyze, and adjust. Next week, we're going to wrap it up. We're going to be talking about anticipating obstacles, visualize potential challenges, and plan for how to overcome them. reveal comfort zone stretching. Identify actions that push you outside of your comfort zone. That's where growth happens. And the last one is yield to adaptability. Be open to adjusting your goals and strategies based on whatever circumstances life throws your way. So I'll be looking to check in with you guys next week as we wrap up this goal setting session.